3, 2, 1. J.R. Richards. You're my second guest. Second timer. Which is very exciting because now we get to catch up on all the other crazy crap. Because I only run into you a couple times since our last podcast. So you have a lot of updates to give me.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, can I ask a dude question first?
Yeah, go for it.
How often do you, and fashion question, maybe fashion/hygiene question, how often do you wash your jeans?
Wash my jeans? Honestly, every time I wear them, throw them in and pop them right in.
Shit, I knew that was going to be your answer. Here's something I've been doing since high school. You gotta know I went to high school before there was the internet. So we operated on rumors. Like you'd hear a guy say something, and be like, okay, that sounds right, let me try it. And you'd never be able to look it up to like see if it was a real answer or not.
Right.
So I heard somewhere in high school that like if you didn't wash your jeans all the time, like if you just washed them a couple times a year, that it was better and it made them more comfortable. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've just washed my jeans for the first time this year, and I'm wearing them right now, and I'm like, they feel way different. They feel clean, which is nice.
Right.
But I'm like, is it gross now? And I've been asking myself this question for years. I was like, how gross is it to only wash your jeans 2, maybe 3 times maximum per year?
I mean, it depends on how many jeans you got. Like, do you have like a whole...
No, I maybe have 1 or 2 pairs. Like, these are my jeans. Like...
Oh, shit.
Yes.
You wear those on the regular.
Yeah. It's pretty... That's kind of gross, right?
Yeah. No, I gotta keep them fresh, man. Throw them in there. Throw that detergent in there. I gotta keep them...
This is how dumb my mind worked back then, and it still works now, obviously. But that's why I'm asking this, because I have to say this out loud, because I want to change it.
Right.
I gotta, like, kind of do a mini survey and be like, hey, is this really right or not? But I justified it back when I heard it in high school. It's like, oh yeah, like cowboys and like our ancestors, they never washed their jeans every day. Like they had 1 pair of pants, like, and they did just fine. And then when my brother went to Iraq, 2 tours in Iraq, and him and his Marine buddies, they didn't wash their clothes for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. Like they were wearing the same shit the whole time. And I'm like, there's something manly about that. I was like, yeah, maybe I'm onto something here.
I couldn't do it, man.
It's gross though, right? Like it's gotta be.
So you've heard a lot of people say that then?
Well, I've seen a lot of evidence of it, of like, yeah, because dude, we haven't had wash machines for that. Like we haven't been rich for a long time, right? Like dudes used to just wear 1 pair of pants. Like that was your pair of pants. That's all you had.
Right.
And if you couldn't wash it too much because it would wear it down, right? Or you'd have no pants. You wouldn't be you just walking around in your drawers all day because your 1 pair of pants was being washed. So people just didn't wash their shit.
Oh, I never knew that, man. I thought they threw it in a well and washed it up in a lake or something. Damn, I didn't know that's how they do it.
All right, I'm gross. All right, catch me up. Catch me up, because you're a fun, interesting dude for me. What are you, like 24 now?
No, I'm 23 still.
Still 23 still.
24
right.
in October.
All right. All right. So you are figuring out the life of a 23-year-old man in 2018, and you seem to be having your foot in a couple different worlds.
Yeah. I've been making moves, man. So after that last show I did at Schenectady Civic, that's when I did the short film after that with my boy Logan. You know, that's the one I had sent you. So after we did that, I'm like, all right, I need to find more film work, because that's what you have to get an agent. You know, they want to see that body of work. So, I mean, for a while I was just looking. I was trying to like create my own projects, but it's hard finding people to collaborate with that are on, like, take it as seriously as you do, you know? So I couldn't find a writer. So it's like, I just went back to class. I'm like, all right, let me just go back to class, stay busy. And, I just finished up a show at SPAC. That's the most recent thing I did. Did a show over there. It was good, man. Good exposure, good experience, and now
when you say start to do something on your own, what does that mean? Like, what did that look like? Like you say, you're looking for somebody saying, "Hey, can we work together? If you write me, I have this idea. Can you write this part for me? Can you want to work on this, writing this together, and then I act and you act?" Is it that kind of thing?
Exactly. That's what I was trying to do at the time. I'm like, let me take a break from class and just just focus on getting this film work done so I can get that reel together. But, man, we hired some dude who was a bum. He didn't take the project seriously. It took him like 3 months to come up with a 10-page script. and then it was trash. So I'm like, yeah, we're not buying this. So it's like, then I'm like, all right, let me go back to the drawing board. I'm searching on Backstage, trying to find like stuff kind of, not too far that I could go to. And I wasn't really seeing anything, like any short films pop up. So I'm like, all right, well, no point in just sitting around. Let me go back to class, still, do my craft, stay busy. And
when you say class, are you talking physical therapy, or are you talking acting class?
No, acting class,
all right,
acting
all
class.
right.
'Cause like, yeah, like
JR is an actor. In case that wasn't obvious.
Yeah,
that's what.
Those of you that
when he
didn't
said
know.
Schenectady Players Club, or is that what it's called?
Schenectady Civic Theater, yeah.
Yeah, he means acting.
Yeah.
Like on the stage, because I saw your play. Right. It was fantastic. You were the coolest one up there.
Thank you,
like you were the best
thank
one
you.
up there for real. I'm like, oh shit, my man's. He's not kidding.
Nah, no games, man.
Like
no
you were
games.
nailing them. You were nailing your lines.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So take me from that. So that last time I saw you in Schenectady on that play, because we talked and you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up this theater stuff for a little while. Right. And it's really like you just like film more, right? Like is that where your heart is? Is like
that's where my heart is.
That's where you start to feel good, get you excited. And
well, I like acting, period, but it's just like the game plan of where I'm trying to go. I don't want to do community theater forever. It's great. You meet great people. It's a good experience, but I want to be a film actor, man. So that's what I'm focusing on.
And you had an interesting role in like the things I've seen you do on film and the theater. I'm like, oh, he's just trying out different things here. Like in the theater, that was one character. And I don't know if I could really describe it.
I was playing a rich dude who was getting married to like this one girl so that their families could come together and like do business.
In like 1920s England or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was that, and then I saw that a couple of your film things, or at least the one with it, you were tied up to a pole in the basement or some shit, and a dude was coming after you with a chainsaw or something, like some dark stuff.
Hell yeah.
Which is hard for me to watch. I don't like being scared. I don't like being scared. And especially knowing you, like, you looked scared. And I was like, he's scaring me because I don't want JR to look scared. You look like you were panicking.
Yeah.
Which obviously is the whole idea. You were acting like a dude that was panicking, tied up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a problem with scary movies, so don't do scary movies if you want me to watch.
All right. Yeah.
So what gets you most excited, though? Like, is it just anything, or are you still feeling that out? Like, or do you want to do scary stuff? Do you want to do action? Do you want to do drama? Do you want to do comedy? Or are you just kind of like, somebody pay me and I'm going to see what I got?
I'm versatile, man, so I definitely feel like I can do it all. But if I had a choice, I'd want to do like action or just like drama. Just like, man, one of the people I look up to is Denzel. So it's like, he's had a great career. So to get to that point where you're just like, anything you do, you're just killing it. I mean, you can't really name a bad movie he's been in,
No, and he's one of the few, whether it's like 3, 4, 5 people that if they're in a movie, you have to watch it.
Right.
Like, you have to watch it. Like, Denzel Washington, to me, he's one of those dudes that seems like he has a button in his head, or just wherever it is, and he just hits it, and it's just like emotion. Like, he just sells whatever that line is. Somebody wrote that line, as a dude who's trying to work with writers, right? Like, somebody writes down a line, and they have in their head just the way it should sound when they wrote it. But somebody like Denzel reads that and just mashes it up, puts it through his processor, and is like, all right, what is this really trying to say here?
Brings it to life.
Yeah, and it brings it to a whole new world that I'm sure the person who wrote it had no idea it was going to get to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so good, right?
Yeah, it's admirable because, I mean, there's so many just not great actors.
Yeah.
And then when you see, like, someone like that, like, it's hard to go back to, like, watching, like, a corny-ass film. I'm like, oh, look at this is funny. And, like, I got some friends who just don't have much in taste. And they're like, hey, watch this. It's great. The acting. I'm like, dude, you got to watch freaking Training Day. You got to watch.
Classic.
Like,
And he improv that whole last scene. Remember when he was just like, I need my money. When he was like, King Kong ain't got shit on me. That scene, bro, that was like all he came up with that on the spot.
My God. Have you sent him an Instagram request or Facebook or anything?
No, I haven't done that.
We talked about him and a bunch of other dudes, like who you looked up to last time we talked.
Yeah.
And that's so important. That's such a it's such a dude thing. We're always looking at older guys. Like, we always want like an older guy to like tell us what the hell we're doing. Like, hey, I see you're doing something right.
Right.
How do I get there? Like, copy. what was that one movie Will Smith did? I forget the name of it. He was like the Rubiks Cube in the back of the car.
Pursuit of Happiness?
There you go, Pursuit of Happiness. One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when the guy pulls up in the Ferrari or Lamborghini, and Will Smith, of course, is broke as hell, just standing out there. He walks, I don't know if he's walking out of steps, like as an unpaid intern or whatever, and he looks there, he's like, yo, man, I need to know, how did you do this? And I'm like, that's the way I look at things, too. Like, what are you doing, and how do I do that? And I hear that a lot from you. You're like, you love going to Denzel.
Hell yeah, bro. And you hear some of his speeches where he's just like, I heard one speech where he was talking about like how sometimes things don't happen right away, and but he said, it's like being in a barbershop. You sit around long enough, you're gonna get a cut. So it's true, man. Like, I guess, he said, I'm a 20-year overnight success. He put in that work, and then that break came, so.
And that's the whole fun, right? Like, how would you describe your trajectory right now? Like, because having, whatever we call them, setbacks, right? Or whatever they are. Just things didn't go the way you thought. Like with the writer, you said you were taking those classes down in New York City. You thought you were going to, and you're like, this turns out to not be that good. Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, those are part of the process, right? Is like, it's not supposed to be straight.
Exactly. And, sometimes it's easy to be like, feel frustrated with those things, but it's all about, you just got to keep moving forward. Like, when I came back from New York City, I don't know if you know this teacher I think he's like head of health sciences or something at Sage, some dude named John Palizza. I came back, I was telling him, he's a friend of mine, and I was telling him, like, yeah, man, it was kind of like funny business down in New York City. He's just like, man, listen, though, he's like, obstacles are a test to see how bad you really want something. So that's all you got to look at it. Like, this is just a little hill you got to get over it. And then once you get over it, straight up to the top. So.
And that's perfect advice. And you need to hear that in different ways all the time. Like Denzel saying, I'm a 20-year overnight success, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's the same thing. The same thing that dude told you. And the same thing I'll say. And the same thing that I believe is when you have that goal. Because I remember meeting you at the gym and we started talking about all this. And I'm like, all right, my man's got some goals. I like this. I love talking to people who have goals, and it's so defined. You articulate it so clearly. Like, you're like, this is my path. I'm gonna get there. I'm like, watch out! Don't get in his way. The JR train's coming through. Like, don't get in his way.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it's inspiring to see that, and it's also just, you have to know that there's gonna be those setbacks. There's gonna be like those disappointments. There's gonna be those. This is what I gave you 10 months to write, and this is however long you said. That guy that write, whatever that was. I gave you this. I thought you were going to be good. Okay, you clearly not as serious as I am.
Exactly.
And that should be a motivation for me. It's like it's that you get to see, like, you're in control. Like, no one else is going to do this for you.
Exactly. And that's the point I've come to now. It's like, all right, now forget looking for the next opportunity. I'm going to create my own. So now I'm like, all right, I haven't been able to find any people who do short films in this area in New York City. I haven't been seeing too much pop up where it's like, come audition. So it's like, all right, let me just get footage of me acting, let me do like 4 different characters just doing a monologue. So I hit my boy up who I shot the last film with, my boy Logan, and I'm like, listen, I bought a monologue book. I memorized 4 of them. Would you be willing to film these for me? Like, 4 different kind of like emotional tones so they can really see my versatility. So we're going to shoot the first one next weekend and then do the other 3, and then bam. Now I have that's my reel for right now,
Now, when you say reel, is that like you're going to put on YouTube?
Yeah, and then, send that out to agents, because I went on SAG, the website, and I was looking for all the agents to see if I could contact them. They had the emails there, so I emailed all of them. Some of them didn't get back to me, some of them did, but they were like, oh man, this is a great resume. Can we see your professional reel now? That's the highlight reel of all your clips of you acting. And that's the first thing they want to see. So I'm like, I don't have that right now, but I'll get back to you when I do. They're like, okay, great. So they want to see that footage before they meet up with you,
And you're learning stuff on your own. Like,
yeah.
You didn't know that. You didn't. You're just like, okay, I'm just gonna email these people, and that'll get it going.
See a nice resume,
and then you're learning on your own. Like, oh no, this is what they want. So
exactly.
You're like, okay, that's what you guys want. All right, I'm gonna go do that, and I'll be back. I'll be right back.
Exactly.
And that's the way to do it. And who's gonna teach you that? No one. You got to
Right.
go try it on your own. But that's awesome that people get back to you.
Yeah.
How many people do you think got back to you? Like 10%, 1%, 20%?
I mean, I emailed the whole list. I only heard back from probably 8 people, but it's like I feel like they just want to see that link. They want to see that footage to see, all right, there's no turning it down if they see what I can do. I know that. But, I guess some of them, they don't want to just see the resume. They want to actually see you and what you can do, But once they see that star talent, then they'll be like, all right, let me meet with this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the freaking spirit you need. So you're going to start that next. Do you have any of them memorized right now? Are you going to give me a taste?
Nah, you got it. You'll see it soon enough.
I got JR right now. I don't got monologue, whatever that person is.
Yeah, no, you'll see it soon
I don't
enough.
got the dude whose mom's just died and is crying. Like, I don't want. All right, I'll just keep JR here. I don't need acting JR.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely tell you what the first one is about. The first one is just, it's gonna be about a dude who can't tell his girlfriend he loves her. Like she wants him to say I love you and he can't say it. So it's just a monologue about him trying to explain, like, look, I can't say this. I don't even tell my mom I love her. It's just kind of like that. And then he kind of tries to joke around with her, and then, long story short, at the end, she just gets up and leaves, and he's just like, he's confused. He's like, where are you going? Like, he doesn't even know what he did wrong. So it's a good one.
So how did you get the idea for a monologue book? I've never even heard of that.
Well, basically, because some of these auditions, they'll give you sides, and they'll be like, it's from the story or whatever, it's from the whatever the project is, and they'll be like, all right, read this as this character, let's see how you do. And then other times they'll just be like, hey, do you just tell us a monologue, like do a monologue that you already have in your head. So as of up until now, I've only had one memorized. So I'm like, let me go buy a monologue book, memorize a whole bunch, just so I can, give them different looks at every other audition.
What if you get one on the spot? Like, what if you end up in an elevator with James Cameron or whoever, some big time director, whoever it is, and then you just start busting out monologue right then and there, to have that in your pocket, in your head. Well,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, have it in my back pocket. Have a whole I'll do it on the spot. Kill it,
dude. Here, wait. Tell me if you knew this. I think I heard last week that that Punisher show is filming in Albany.
I heard that.
Tell me how you don't belong. A dude looking like you look. How do you not belong on Punisher show?
Bro, I heard they were trying to keep it low key. I guess they entitled it crime show or something. They didn't really want people to know from what I know, and then they started getting out nah, that's for the Punisher. I'm like, oh shit. But that's something I would have loved to audition for if they, but it's
Are they gone?
I don't know. I heard they were doing a high-speed chase or something with an ambulance bumping into a car or something, but
sounds like Albany.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's these things, they don't just post auditions oh yeah, come out and audition for this. I mean, I can kind of understand it because you'll have how many people will come and audition. They probably don't have all day for it, but it's just just give me that opportunity, and I know for a fact, I'll shine. And that's just what I want, is that opportunity. So
you just got to keep clawing.
That's it.
And which is the fun part. Don't ever forget, you're in the middle. Not even at the middle. You're still at the beginning of the fun part.
Right. Got to embrace the journey, right?
You're not starting from scratch. I know you have some stuff now.
Right.
You have some, I did this, I am doing this. So you're way beyond the crawling stage. You're almost at the walking stage.
Right.
You're almost starting to, a little kid taking his first steps. Almost there, right?
Right. And every show I do, I'm hearing the feedback is awesome. SPAC, people come up to me afterwards. Man, that was incredible. I was playing a king, and it was
Tell me, what was the SPAC thing?
It was called Shakespeare in the Pines. It was a collage of Shakespeare stuff, and I did it mainly because of the platform. I'm SPAC, a lot of people go there. It's a great place to perform at, and plus Saratoga, that's a good area to really, make your mark in. So
yeah, who knows who's up in Saratoga this time of year?
Exactly.
Wheelers and dealers and artsy folks that are love putting money into film and into projects and art and stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a different kind of acting too. So, it was the director wanted all these big gestures, and normally, in film acting, you don't really do all that hand movement, but it just shows your adaptability when you can just go, do other kind of, bring the director's vision to life, even if it's not, even if somewhere is all that hand movement necessary, but I did it and I killed it. It's
well, is that what Shakespearean acting is? Is it I
guess. I guess, bro. That was my first time being asked to write a gesture for each line. Everything I said like they wanted me to do like a hand gesture, like I'm like, okay.
Shakespeare's confusing to me. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be super brilliant. Like, I know that. But man, it takes me so much energy to pay attention to what the hell's going on. Like who's related to who? Desdemona, like I don't even know all the names. Desdemona and
I did that one. Othello, I did that one before, yeah.
Othello's the only one that kind of makes the most sense to me when I'm watching. I'm like, okay, I see kind of what's going on. But man, some of those other ones, like I grew up in Stratford, Connecticut, and they named Stratford after where Shakespeare was from in England, Stratford upon Avon. We had a Shakespeare theater there, and I used to go there and watch some plays in class and stuff. I'm like, what are these people talking about? And you're right, like maybe it was like they were hand gestures, and I'm like, nobody talks like this, nobody moves like this.
Exactly. That's why I was kind of just like, what? When I first got that instruction, because like I don't know, but I just tried to accommodate what she wanted, and it worked out.
How long did that run?
The show, it was just that one. It was like July 20th.
All right. Oh, so just last week.
Yeah.
And then what? So what were the crowds like? I don't know that I saw any notice of that.
Oh yeah, it was on Facebook. They had like an event page, but I mean, honestly, I thought more people were gonna come. It said like 1,000 people were coming, like 600 people were interested. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a big turnout, but I mean, it ended up only being like 60 people. But I mean,
I was just gonna say, I saw this statistic about Facebook. The people that say they're gonna go or they're interested in going. I saw this a while ago. It tends to be about 10% of what it is. So you said 600 people said they were going. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 60 people went.
Yeah.
It's 10%. Like, it's like wow, that's a perfect example. Because people love not going to shit. Like, they love saying, oh yeah, I'll be there. Like, you got buddies. You're like, oh yeah, man, I'll be over there.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They love canceling. They love changing their minds last minute.
Oh, they sure do.
It's one of the things it's one of my problems with people, but it's one of my like funny observations. Is like, people love not doing stuff.
Oh yeah, but then when they need something, or they want you to come to something, then it's like
people love to not do things.
Yeah.
They love not doing it. Which for someone like you, I got to think that's a little bit of motivation. It's just like it might not take that much effort to be that much better than the previous person, or your competitor or whatever. Like,
right.
Like if you're going this route, like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep up. Oh, you can't stop me. Oh, you guys want to make a reel? All right, I'll make a reel. Other people are like, oh, man, only eight agents got back to me, and they want a reel, and I don't have a reel, and I don't know how to make that. What do I do?
Yeah.
Like, because people love not doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're that dude who's like, okay, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to get that. I'm going to start that. I'm going to make that reel. Okay, you can't write for me? Okay, or whatever the things that you told me you had a problem with. You keep going. I'm sorry, I keep going back to this point because I love it. I love watching a young man like taking on the world.
Yeah, I heard somebody say, man, I listen to a lot of like speakers like Les Brown, Tony Robbins. I heard one of them say, you can't deny somebody that won't be denied. So they're basically saying like, you can't, if this way isn't working out, or a little setback here, keep going, find another way, keep going, and eventually life just says, all right, fuck it, let him through. Let him through.
This dude ain't quitting.
Exactly.
And it's really pissing me off he's not quitting. So maybe let him. I don't know who Les Brown is. Who's that?
Big speaker, man. He's like multi-millionaire speaker, and I guess he started off as an orphan. He was broke. It's just like a big transformation kind of story where he just made it. People called him in school. The teachers called him They labeled him educable, mentally retarded. They told him, school isn't for you, man. And he ended up finishing, high school and everything, but he didn't go to college. And he was just working run-of-the-mill jobs. And then eventually he was just like, I can do better than this. I can do more. And then I guess he got into like politics or something. And then after that, he decided he wanted to speak to people because he liked being around people. He wanted to like motivate people to be, get to be the best version of themselves. So now he's getting paid hundreds of thousands to go around and speak to people.
That is the dream.
Yeah.
It's something about people who seem to tap into that, right? They tap into that like his story. Like, you're kind of given a dog shit hand in life.
Exactly.
Which is kind of a blessing, because I used to work with and for like really, really rich people, like Forbes 500 wealthy people, retardedly rich, and their biggest concerns were about their kids. They're like, their life is too easy. Like the one woman who was the billionaire, she was an orphan. Like, she was dropped off at a doorstep and adopted. Like, her parents didn't want her, so she was just like given away. And she's like, you know, that kind of like transformed her a bit, and like to go through that pain, through that suffering. She's like, now look at my kids. They're millionaires, billionaires,
born into the money.
Yeah, they're just like, they don't have to feel pain. Like, they're just like, she's like, my biggest concern, the thing that keeps me up most at night is worrying about my kids and their future. And at that time, she's like, the one daughter had her stuff together. Like, she was a didn't care about the money. She was also the oldest one, so maybe maybe there's some benefits to being the oldest one as well. Like, the first one, like, no, and having that independent spirit. But then the other two, she's like, yeah, I'm really worried about them. They're lazy. They just play video games all day and just want to hang out and buy nice things. She's like, I'm really concerned about them. But there's something like about a guy like Les Brown that you want to hear that story. Like, nobody even wants to hear like about a Donald Trump story, right? Nobody wants to hear about LeBron James' kid's story. Nobody wants to hear about Will Smith. Oh, Jaden Smith. Oh, you get to be an actor now?
Yeah.
Oh, great story.
You want to hear about other people who overcame adversity and, you know, earned everything they got. Or at least I do. I want to hear stories like that. It's like, wow.
Because that's more fun. And that's kind of the American spirit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, you get to go decide what you want to do. Well, that's why Will Smith, that's a perfect example. His story is awesome. Like, I remember watching just the intro. I still watch it occasionally now. The intro to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know if you were too young. You were way too young to have been on when they were making new Fresh Princes. Like this week's new.
I was born in '94.
You weren't watching Fresh Prince with me. So, but whenever that's still one of my favorite openings to any TV show of all time, because it shows him, you know, on the streets of Philly playing basketball, and, you know, in the hood, and just like spray painting and like getting beat up, and like having to leave, and then just make something of himself. Like okay, you're getting out of here, and now look, you get to go live in Bel Air, and now look at the world. Wow, there's a world of opportunity. What am I gonna do with this opportunity? And in the show, like, he's building himself up to like be a conqueror, to totally put the Philly life behind him and seize the opportunity they have, because that is like a huge, like, hey, you could go live with your rich uncle in Bel Air. Like, okay, that's helpful, but you have to use the opportunity right. And that was the whole I love that. I don't know, I got deep even as a little kid. I was watching that, I'm like, I can do anything? Like, I could do that? Like, I didn't grow up in like the most awesome areas, so I was like, I was that dude on that basketball court and like getting in fights and shit. I'm like, this doesn't seem like I want to do this forever. Like, this life better get better than this.
Like, there's got to be more. Yeah, something else.
Yeah. Then I watched Fresh Prince. I'm like, oh, I could have a butler.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, his story's interesting. Jaden Smith? No. Nobody's that impressed.
Nah, I mean, once you're born into money like that, your dad's famous, like, you instantly have connections, you know? So it's like...
Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't totally discount it, because you still have to want to do it.
Yeah, true.
Because you could just sit... Maybe that's a testament to how good of parents Will and... I forget his wife's name.
Jada?
Is it Jada?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. She's still got that really pretty short hair. Oh, she's really pretty.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, maybe that's a testament to how good of parents they are. If they're like, dude, you're not allowed to sit around and do something. You better go do something. What do you want to do?
Right.
Or you want to do the same thing your dad does? Oh, all right, that's fine. You could do that. You're fine. We'll make it easier for you, maybe. But he doesn't. It's not like he sucks. Like, I've seen him act. Like, he's pretty good. But it's still not the Les Brown story. It's not going to be the J.R. Richards story. Like, your story is the story I want to hear.
Right.
All right, so the next move. So SPAC, is that going to go anywhere? Like, anything branching off of that? Like, well, did you meet anyone that you're like, all right?
I did, but I don't know what happened. This one lady, she was just like, her daughter was dancing in the show. She came up to me. She's like, oh, you did an incredible job. I actually know a filmmaker. You know, he's working on something right now. I'm sure, I could set up a meeting with you guys. And then she was supposed to get back to me on the following Monday and like hit me up and say, oh, let's meet here. But I mean, she never got back to me, so I was like, oh well, on to the next.
No contact? You don't have her contact?
I do. Maybe I should hit her up.
Dude, but it's not even a maybe. Like, it's a definite.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it too. Like, if you really think that she's like a solid connection, I mean, you could do this with anyone, is instead of like just sending an email or something, just make a little like 30-second or 1 minute YouTube of, little video of yourself, and just send her the link and be like, hey, this is me again, blah 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 blah, great to meet you, and you were talking about this connection, this filmmaker or something, I just want to let you know I'm still really interested.
All right, yeah, I'll do that.
Dude, it goes, use technology to your benefit, because that's the whole thing with you emailing them agents, right? Like, they just see words, they want to see that face, and if you just do that with everyone, like, people want to see little videos, like a little 30-second video of your smiling ass face.
right.
Do that. It's the no fear thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, you're learning that nobody's gonna look out for you the way you look out for you.
Exactly.
Like, so she might, and who knows what happens in people's lives when they say, like, I've had a handful of people, I can't even count how many people, they're like, I'm gonna get back to you because I want to work with you, I want to do this, and then you just don't hear from them. And sometimes I have their contact, sometimes I don't. Other times I'm like, nah, do I really want to work with this person anyways? Like, maybe not. Sometimes I let it go, or sometimes I'll poke them a bit, and they're like, oh, thanks for getting back to me. Like, that's, if she offers the help, she almost certainly meant it.
Right. So I might as well see what it's about, right? Like,
yeah, because people forget. Like, think about how many things you forget.
True. Yeah, life happens.
Dude, life starts happening, and you're like, all of a sudden, it's 2-3 weeks later, and you're like, I didn't do, what? What was I supposed to do the last 2 weeks that I didn't do? So, I wouldn't, like, you want to take it personally a little bit, right?
Yeah, like, oh, she was playing games, like, oh, forget it, then. That's kind of how I thought about it, but...
Yeah, that's the natural instinct, is to be like, man, fine, fuck you. Fine, you ain't gonna get back to me, right? Like, that's what your head is saying, like, defensively. But at the end of the day, if you ever get that offer, somebody really meant it, and they just forget. Like, people forget all the time.
That's true.
So don't take it personally whatsoever. So follow up with her, for sure.
All right, definitely.
Dude, 100%. All right, so who's this... So there's that angle. So, because that's the thing, man. Everything you do, never look at it as a dead end. Like, you met her, and she's offering that, be like, okay, where can I go with that? And then maybe she introduces you to this guy, the filmmaker, and that's going to lead to, he's like, oh no, I can't really work with you, but here's this other person's number. All right, here's this woman's number. All right, dude, before you know it, you got, like, you're 6 degrees down the road from the SPAC thing, and like, holy shit,
right.
Look what this led to. I had no idea by just getting back to this woman.
Right. Well, speaking of that, bro, the other gig I did before that, I was doing, I don't know if I told you, I was like training public defenders.
No.
Oh, at Skidmore College, yeah. I was playing a character called Bobby Jones, and basically it's about teaching public defenders how to better like interact with their clients and, represent them better, because like how most people think of public defenders, all like, you got one of them, you're screwed, like.
It's always the dude walking in with like the stack full of cases, like, which one are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so is this an acting thing, or was this
yeah.
Are you this isn't real life you advising public defenders?
No. What they do?
I had thought that for a second. I was like, are you really talking to lawyers and telling them how to be nice?
No, I was doing it through my acting, basically. All
right.
So, so a guy, it was for a New York State Defenders Association. A guy had come to that play at Schenectady Civic. He saw me. He's like, oh, who's this guy? He did a great job. He was talking to my teacher. She gave him my info. Long story short, I auditioned with him, got on board, and they gave me a biography for this character, Bobby Jones. He was on trial for attempted murder of his girlfriend, because I guess she had gotten beaten up or something in the story, and he was kind of had a rough history. So, yeah, man, they had me play that character, and I'd go from room to room. There was like 7 different lawyers, and I'd go in as the character, and they did it from like the first meeting, the initial client meeting where they're just trying to gain your trust, get to know you, find out a little bit about what happened. And then after that, they kind of fast forward 6 weeks to basically like strategizing. And then after that, they do another session where it's you kind of like, they prepping you like, hey, when you go in, dress like this, act like this. You want to be presentable, respectful. And then they do the actual examination thing. So, yeah.
So you really learned lawyering?
Yeah, man. I learned a lot about yeah. It was fun, man. They had the jail outfits and everything, Albany County.
Wait, so was this filmed?
They got the first one on film, like the client like interview when I walk in and I first meet him. I know they filmed one of those sessions, so I haven't gotten it back yet. I gotta ask about it.
So how many things are you on right now that you can put your name on? Whether it's like we talked about, I still see your, as of a couple weeks ago, I still saw your face on the poster around town. So between the posters and the plays and the films and stuff like that, how many different things has J.R. Richards' name been written on? Are you keeping track of everything that you're doing, like writing it down?
Yeah, I got a resume. I typed it up, put my headshot right in this, like at the top, and then just list everything I've done, all the characters I've played, and yeah. So right now it's probably been about, I don't know, man. It's probably like 13, 14.
All right, we broke 10.
Yeah.
We broke 10. I was just hoping we broke 10.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because that's where it starts to feel legit, right?
Yeah,
like once you get out of that single digits. That's like with this silly podcast. Like the first 5 I don't even think I have posted or anywhere, because I'm just like, this was just garbage. Like I was just trying to get used to seeing my face and listening to my voice, which is weird at first. Like it's really weird.
Right.
Like it's really strange. Especially now, it's funny to talk with people. Not like you, obviously, because you want to hear and you want to see and you're used to analyzing yourself and you know what you sound like and what you look like. But some people I podcasted with, and they just are like so terrified to listen to their voice or watch themselves. And I'm like, I understand that, because that was me like a year and a half ago when I was just feeling out the first 5 or 6 or something like that. And I was like, it's weird for me. Like, I don't even know how to, like, what am I supposed to do? Like what do I look
experience?
Yeah, like, wait, that's what I look like to the world? That's weird. That's what I sound like? That's how I look when I'm talking to people?
Right.
It's a lot of weird shit. And it's funny to think, like, people are just like, oh, I don't know what to do. But once I got out of those 5, 6, those single digits, once I hit 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, I don't know, I'm approaching 30 now, which... hopefully it's gonna, I would like to get to 100 by the end of this year. Like I really want to amp this up to like 2 or 3 a week.
Hell yeah,
dude! Because I love this. Like this is my favorite thing in the world to do. J.R. Richards, like you're talking about, like acting gets you fired up. Like imagine if you get paid to work for 3. Like that's the dream, right? To get paid to work for 3 months and wake up every day doing something that you're just like gets you so freaking excited.
That's the dream, man. I mean, I'm glad I'm fortunate enough to have been getting paid for all these gigs I've been doing now. But, to make those big dollars.
That first check, man.
Hell yeah.
Like that first check when you see a comma. Like maybe 2 like how many commas? Like your name is on it. Like, woo! That's going to be exciting. But it's like, yeah. Yeah, it's like you start to feel serious about it. Like I take this seriously now. Yeah. Like I don't know if I'm good at it, but I enjoy it and I'm taking it seriously. I actually need to find somebody that can be better. That's the hard problem too. Is like you're having a hard time like finding people that want to take it as seriously as you do, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, hey man, I just want, because you need collaboration. Nothing ever happens. That's the one awesome thing you learn, is nothing ever happens by yourself.
Exactly.
You need other people.
Gotta network.
You need other people. You need that network. You need people that can do things that you suck at. Like I suck at edit. Like I'm never gonna edit or anything, because I tried doing it. I bought like decent editing software, and I'm like, it's taking me like 2 or 3 hours to edit this crap. And one, I don't want, like I could be spending that 2 or 3 hours like learning stuff and like going to do other things that are gonna make my podcast better, make my conversations better, or just anything.
Right, that's the aspect of the game you're focused on, like
the creating part.
Right.
Like you're a creator.
Yeah.
You're an artistic creator, and that's kind of just what you want to do.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
So you don't want to you're going to need a manager, an accountant, a lawyer of some sort. You're going to need all that paperwork. You're going to need some trusted friends or family that you'd be like, you watch the money, or you make sure that I get paid and everything's taken care of and all the details. You're like, I just got to be doing this.
Exactly.
Like, I got to be doing this because this is what feels right.
Right.
So when you get like, that's the thing too. Like I'm like, I need somebody to help that wants to edit to make it look more professional and everything. Because for me, I'm happy with it being raw, because that's where the fun is to me. Like, I love raw conversations. I don't like graphics and everything, but it can look way better. But I'm just not interested in doing it because that's going to take probably 20 hours just to learn, and then every time I do it, it's going to take 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, but I should be going to do other things with that 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know.
Well, my buddy, man, he's dope at editing. The dude who did the last short film with it. He's going to be, for these monologues I'm doing, he told me he'd edit everything for me. And, you know, it's a good price, too. I'm like.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need that.
I'll give you his info. Yeah,
please, because I understand that one of the because feedback is great, right? Whether it's friends, family, or strangers, and one of the feedbacks is, of course, hey, maybe you want to edit some of this, and I'm like, kinda, but I don't want to.
Right.
Like you're only awake for like 16 hours out of the day. I can't be using like 10 or 20% of those hours, like. Computer, I'm doing this so I don't have to be sitting at a computer, like, right? Like, you want to not sit around and do shit that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
You want to just get better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we need a team. Maybe you and I eventually, maybe we're gonna have the same trajectory at some point, because who knows where anything goes, right? Like this, who knows where this is gonna go? Who knows who's gonna watch this and be like, oh, is J.R. Richards? Like, what? Let me talk to that dude. Like, everything counts.
It does, man. It does.
I'm sorry. I get so pumped up with this shit. Like, everything counts. Everything's connected. So, just who I know might watch this and be like, all right, I'm making a film now. Like I mentioned to you, I have had some experience in the film industry. Like, my name is officially on like Netflix credits, like, you know, as a production accountant, but I worked with SAG and people that were producers and location managers out in LA and stuff, and that was like 10 years ago, but it's still there. Like, right. Okay, I kind of understand that world. Like, somebody might recognize my name and be like, oh, I remember that dude. Like, whatever, things are all connected. Like, things I learned from that experience are helping me right now today, which is why I like talking to you about it too, because I'm like, JR, like, I know actors. Like, I saw, not like I know them, like, hey, this is a guy I hook you up with, but when I worked in the film industry, I saw the process. I watched people, like, and listened to their stories of how they started, and then how they bounced around. And it's what's happening with you right now, is these, you know, people that were like, say, the lead role in one of the 2 or 3 movies I worked on, and doing awesome, like, sitting there watching, like, god damn, man, that's a really talented person. And then talking to them afterwards and just learning about their story, how they just like, oh, I started doing high school plays, and then I got into a little bit of theater in college, and then I started making my own videos with friends. And then the world's totally different now. Like, you don't even, there's YouTube, right? Like, you can make your own movies, like,
oh yeah, you can do all kind of things with social media. Hell yeah.
So you got to use those weapons, but it's like to see the progression. And when I hear it from you, I'm like, yeah, you're on that path too, of those old actors I knew, like, listening to their path, like, they're getting paid. Like, I was writing, like, I was the accountant, so I was writing their checks, and I'm like, dude, $300-400 a day to do that, like, that's awesome. Like, that's a paid gig. That's not like, I mean, that's a lot of money. If you could do $300 or $400 a day,
something you love to do,
for something you love to do, and, you know, that'd be a month. That'd be a month of work for them, or 2 months guaranteed money. And I'm like, that's beautiful. Like, that's they figured it out, and they all start somewhere. They all start at zero, which is fun. Like, I don't know how many people watch this podcast or listen to it. Like, I don't care yet. It could be 5. It could be 50. Actually, I get a little bit surprised when I've seen on how many iTunes downloads. I'm like, really? There's people watch it? People watch it this week? What's going on? So I kind of ignore it right now, and that's something else, like, maybe somebody else can deal with, because I don't really care about the numbers right now.
Right.
But I love seeing that. I know I had 0 at some point. Still might be 0 right now. I don't know. But now I know it's not 0. But now I got 1. And then I got 15 views. And then I got 20. And then I got 30.
The next thing you know, you got 1 million like Joe Rogan.
and that's not unreasonable to think. Why wouldn't I think that way?
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't you be thinking that you could do what Denzel does? Why?
It's been done.
It's been done. Just copy off of that dude, but do your version of it. Like, yeah, somebody like, perfect example is Joe Rogan. He's 14 years on me. He didn't start this when, yeah, I guess he's like 14 years older than me. And like, where am I going to be in 14 years if I'm doing this 2-3 times a week and loving it? Because I'm going to do something that he can't do. I mean, he's doing his own thing, things that I can't do. But right now, I can do things that he wasn't doing at my age. And give me 14 years of this, of talking and listening to people and smiling, having friends and getting better at talking and better at listening and figuring out problems and listening to people's stories. Like, where's that going to go?
Possibilities are endless, bro.
Woo! It's so good to be alive, J.R. Richards.
It is, man. It is.
Because you're in control.
Exactly. I mean, I've only been acting for like a year, and I think, wow, I just did like 4 paying gigs in the past month, back to back. I did the public defender's gig. I did a gig at Claremont Historical Site. It was like a scene for the 4th of July. Making hundreds of dollars for each of these things. It's a good start.
It's funny to think of that as a start, right? Because in a way you're kind of finished. In a way, like somebody just paid me for me to do something artistic.
Right. When you get paid,
like, so they're taking me they're taking me seriously.
Exactly.
Oh shit, I should be taking me seriously.
Exactly.
That's how it is with like podcast views, I guess. And actually, people like, there's been a couple people on the street I've seen in restaurants. Oh, you're Doug of Troy. You do that, have the podcast. I'm like, what? I don't even know who you are. Like, that's like, am I being taken seriously now?
Oh shit! Like random people like you never met.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
And it's really unusual. Just like getting a check must feel like, wait, you're taking me seriously.
It feels good, man.
And then you're getting, hey, call, like from the woman at Spec. Like, hey, I want to connect you with this person.
Yeah. Well, I actually also have some coming up with Albany Medical College. A lady runs a program there called, it's like Standardized Patients or something. It's basically what I did for the public defenders, but I'll be training like nurses, like hospital staff, playing a patient to show them how to, better interact with patients. And I met her from the last gig, but she was just like, I'm always looking for actors. So, I got her contact info. I hit her up. She's like, oh yeah, I heard great things about you. Come. So I got to attend a meeting next Monday, get me on board, get my paperwork all done. And that's a pretty frequent thing. So I'll probably be getting paid weekly for that, and it'll be pretty regular. So.
Wow.
That's a part-time gig.
What you keep hitting on, and this is the way I see it now, is like, there's many different ways to look at this. Like, I'm glad you were thinking, like, go to New York City or to the dream of move to LA and all that.
Yeah.
But, man, if you're talking about Albany, like, you're doing all this local shit, like, which is how it has to start. Like, right. It's not like this is a shitty area to do this. This is a great area to get these local gigs. Like, what you're telling me, I had no idea even existed. So there's definitely, like, a lot of stuff going on around here. It's like that. It's like the Facebook idea, right? Like, Zuckerberg started in his dorm room. He didn't start like, hey, I'm going to take on the whole world with this whole thing. I'm going to go to New York City. I'm going to go to LA. We're going to take over the whole world. He's like, no, I'm just going to do it in my little dorm room.
Yeah.
And then start at my college. Like, start just locally. Just see what you could do in your own backyard.
Exactly.
And then you get that momentum and be like, okay. And then you could maybe check out the New York. Then you'd be like, hey, look at all this stuff I'm doing up here. And then maybe the LA or who knows?
Exactly.
Like, the future's there. Whatever the hell it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just said something like this. Like it's there. It's your world. Like, who knows where it's going to go? But you always got to try to, like, pull yourself back in, right? And just be like, wait, I got to start here. Like, that's how it always starts. Like, you got to start with these, like, MC Hammer selling cassette tapes out of the trunk of his car. Like, or whoever's done that. Like, I don't know how many... Dude... I know you don't remember the 1990s, but so many gas stations I would pull into. Not that I was driving a lot in the 90s because I was only like in my teenage years, but I pulled into many gas stations and dudes were selling mixtapes out of their cars. Like, it was, I don't know.
That was the hustle back then.
Dude! It was! Like, hey, this is my mixtape. And I would have like a cheesy little like printed, like it looked like it was printed on a library printer of their name, maybe a little like shitty grainy photo with some color on it. It had their name, and like it would have like 2 or 3 tracks on it, and it would just be like a little blank tape. And they were selling them for $5 or something like that.
But that's how they got their workout, right?
Yeah, and there's something really admirable about that because I felt like I didn't really know what I was looking at. I was like, what is going on here? Like, what are these guys doing? Who are these people? Like, where do they get this idea? Is this going to work? Are they making money like this? And then I would listen to it, and most of the time it was garbage. But I do remember, and obviously I have no idea who it was or anything, but I remember this one song on this one of these mixtapes that I bought. Because me and my friends would buy, I think I bought them twice out of a trunk, just kind of as this is fun. Like, nobody's ever offered me a tape out of a trunk. So I think twice we actually bought the tapes. And I remember this one song, I would listen to it over and over. I'm like, damn, this dude's hitting it.
It was fire?
It was fire! It was spitting that hot 1995 fire! I remember that, and I'm like, I don't know where this ends up, but I remember thinking, this is admirable what these guys are doing. That takes some balls. That takes balls, man. When you say, I'm not doing physical therapy anymore. I'm going to go be an actor. I'm like, a dude with balls. He's that dude that's selling his mixtape. I love that. I absolutely love that. So, yeah, man, it's the if you just keep working around here and have your network around here, who knows? Who the hell knows? So what's your daily routine like now? You still working out, going to the gym?
Yeah, that's the, man, I definitely stepped that up. I'm on keto now. Just playing no games, bro. Running every day. So I really got disciplined with that. Before I was kind of on and off. Now I'm just like, phew.
What does keto look like for you?
It started out being a little rough, man. But now I'm getting a little bit more used to it. Wake up, have eggs, bacon, I'll have some yogurt in between lunch, or maybe some cheese or something. A lot of cheese now. Got a whole pack of cheese sticks, family pack. Then, for lunch I'll have chicken breast, but I can't just eat the chicken breast by itself. I throw some cheese on there, some tomato sauce. It's like healthy chicken parm. Eat that. Then for dinner I'll have some steak or some fish with, just green vegetables. So, yeah, I feel a lot better, You feel super focused, a lot more energy.
When you kill those carbs, right?
Yeah.
So is it any sugar? Are you having
no?
Are you at zero?
I mean, maybe just natural sugars. I have some blueberries and strawberries and stuff like that, but no processed sugar. Cause believe it or not, man, I was kind of slacking before. I go to the gym a couple times a week, but in between on my days off, I'd be going to I Love, get 3 slices. Go to the corner store, get some mini donuts, and then I'm like, I'll be back in the gym in a couple days. But bro, I was starting to feel like shit. I wake up, my eyes were hurting. I'm like, I think my blood sugar was getting too high, cause just
How long was this going on?
I noticed it a couple months ago, cause on my cheat days, bro, I would really cheat, Yeah, I had that sweet tooth, You have one thing, it's I can't just stop with one pack of mini donuts. I get some ice cream, and then later on in the day, get some M&Ms. I don't know, man.
Oh, so you were having cheat days.
Yeah.
You weren't having a cheat meal.
Nah.
You started the day with donuts and then with M&Ms?
Yeah, all downhill, bro.
I don't think that's supposed to. You're supposed to do.
It's supposed to be one little thing, right?
So would you feel like shit the next day, or would it be for days you'd feel garbage?
It'd be for days, bro. That's the thing I noticed. I'm still young, but as you get older, you can't do the things you were doing at 16, even at 23. 16, I eat a whole box of pizza, eat some donuts or whatever, ice cream, wake up. All right, time to hit the gym. Now I was waking up, my eyes were hurting. You start getting that tingly feeling. I'm like, oh shit, we don't want to go that diabetic route. So I'm like,
whoa.
It can happen to anybody, if you just kind of you can't do the same things forever,
But so many people do.
Yeah.
So many people do. And they're my close family and friends too. We see all those people dude, how come you still eat like you're 16?
Right.
I say that way too much. I'm like, I don't eat that. I don't like vegetables. I don't like greens. No, I like pizza. I'm like, I like soda. I'm like, what does it matter what you like?
That's about what's good for you. Is it good for you? Is it benefiting you? No. So
do you cheat anymore?
Nah, bro, cause it's a slippery slope, man. If I have one thing, bro, I'll go downhill, cause I'll be I already had that. Might as well have this. I'm kind of all or nothing, I go 0 to 100, so I don't even play around.
I know I am also a man of extremes.
Yeah.
Laying in the middle. it doesn't work. Well, I guess it's indicative of what you're trying to do. Like, you're not trying to have an average life anyways. Like, you're going for broke.
Exactly.
Or going for rich, however way you want to look at it. Being in that middle, it's freaking... Actually, I have many friends that think like that. I texted a couple friends recently, just as I like throwing philosophical questions out there. Just questions like, what do you think people's biggest fears are, and what's your biggest fear? So I only asked like 5 or 6 people, and 2 of them came back with, I'm afraid I'm just going to be mediocre. And another person's like, I'm afraid I'm always going to live somewhere between a failure and success. Like, I would need to be one of those. Like, right. I can't just be in the middle. And I'm like,
I respect that.
That's deep.
It is, man.
Like, that's deep, and it's a good way to think about the world. Like, it's a real fear. Like, to be just right there in the middle.
So many people are like content with being that way. It's crazy.
Because it's easy.
Right, yeah.
Life doesn't have to be hard anymore. Like, you can do what you just said. You could go, wake up in the morning, get your box of donuts, soda, coffee, whatever you want, then have a bunch of pizza, and then maybe pasta and more just trash the whole freaking day. Have your M&Ms, go to your job and just keep pounding sugar and shitty food all day. Come home, and you don't have to worry about bears or wolves eating you anymore like we used to. There's nothing nothing. You don't have to be afraid of anything. There's not too many things that are going to kill you now. Civilization, we've pretty much carved out. It's really easy to stay alive now.
Yeah. And
you could just go to your coasty little job, make your $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, pretending to work on a computer.
Yep.
And hey, like, talk the whole, hey, Bob, hey, Jim, hey, oh, blah, blah, blah. You could talk like that. You don't ever have to have, like, a meaningful interaction, a confrontation with anyone. Everything's just nice and polite. Go home, watch TV, and ta-da, wake up tomorrow and do the same thing over and over. It's really easy, and so many people do it, man.
I know, man. It's that comfort zone, you know?
But I'm uncomfortable being comfortable.
Same here, exactly.
I've intentionally moved and transferred colleges, and I've always been moving. I'm just like, I go for walks in the woods all the time now, and I'm like, I gotta get off the trail. I have to go get lost for a little while because I'm too comfortable being on this trail. Like, I kind of take it extreme sometimes, and that's without phone, without a compass or anything. I'm just like, I need to get lost. Like, I need to feel uncomfortable because I know I need to know that I can get out of that. And then it feels so good once you get out of it.
It does. So that's the kind of thing I'm on now, is like, just not even just applying it to acting, just everything I do. I'm just want to be the best version of myself, you know? So now I'm going to I hate running. I'm getting up every day, running for a half hour, like good speed on the treadmill, just like every single day, committed to it.
I've seen you on the treadmill. You freaking kill it.
Yeah. And I hate it, man, but hey, it's good. I like the results.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and discipline is fun, right? Like saying, all right, I'm not doing... And knowing yourself is how it all starts, right? Like you say, I know once I have that donut or once I have that M&Ms, like it's all downhill. I just want more and more and more.
Exactly.
That's your brain fucking with you.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to a lot of videos on that because I'm figuring like, why does it seem like the little things are so like, oh, I don't feel like doing it? And I was just listening to a video with this lady. She said like, that's your brain. Like your brain wants to keep you from danger, from uncomfortable things. So that's why you may not feel like doing certain things that like are just beneficial to you that you should do. But it's just all about, and the lady said she actually got out of that just by, she said she saw a rocket take off on a commercial and she's like, it was like a countdown. So now whatever she doesn't feel like doing, she'll be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it, get up and do it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's smart as hell. Like anything you don't feel like doing, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, go do it. And so now I'm doing that. I'm using that strategy a lot with a lot of things, and it's been working. So something simple like that.
And it's about doing little things, right?
Yeah, like
here's an example of it seems so trivial, but I do this, that same mentality. I do this. It seems so trivial, so dumb. It seems so unimportant. But just before I came here, I had to go underneath my sink to get a plastic bag out. I go underneath my sink, pull out the plastic bag. I knocked over a thing of washing fluid, and it just tipped over. And then I closed the kitchen cabinet, and I started walking away. And I was like, no, get your ass back there and pick that thing back up and put the bottle the way it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine, fuck it, go do that. And went back there, opened it up, put it back the way it was, and then I left. And I was like, it's that little thing, because I wanted to be lazy.
Yeah,
like,
I don't feel like doing this, man.
It's corn. You know, what does it matter?
Right.
Like, what does it matter? But I'm like, it doesn't belong like that. Like, I just messed something up, and I'm just being lazy right now. Like, stop being lazy and go down there and pick that up. So just doing that little thing, like, I do stupid shit like that all the time.
Right.
But it works, which is, I think something like that, maybe you can agree to this, is in your own experience, is like, doing stuff like that allows me to eat better and take care of myself better and go to the gym and run and do shit I don't want to do. Like you on the treadmill. You don't want to do that?
Hell no.
That sucks.
It does, man.
It absolutely sucks, but you do it. You absolutely do it. And I think all those like little tweaks, like, okay, I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to call this person today. I don't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, I said I was going to do it. And then once you start, like, I tell this to friends all the time. I was like, you will, once you start doing everything that you say you're going to do, ooh,
feel good about yourself.
Ooh. Like, I've been doing this for years, and I get addicted. You get addicted to it. Like, you're addicted to keto right now, right? You're kind of addicted to running.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of feel like a loser if you don't do it, right?
Day one was like, I just pushed myself through it. Day two, but then, like, now I'm just like, because you immerse yourself in it so much that it's like, that's all you know now, so, you know?
What are the effects on your body and your brain? Like, do you think you're thinking more clear? Do you have more energy? What's your weight? Has your weight changed at all?
I haven't weighed myself, but I feel like I definitely must have lost some weight. Like, lost fat anyways, so I feel a lot better, man. My vision is cleared up, because I was starting to, like, get blurry vision. That's how I know, like, I think my blood sugar was just, like, through the roof, and, you know, that stuff can affect your eyes and stuff like that, so.
Everything.
Yeah.
I have a father-in-law, I don't know how to say it, whatever, a kind of a father-in-law type person. He, diabetic, he just, he got his foot cut off.
Damn.
And it's like, he's been knowing this for years. They're like, hey, you got to start eating healthy. You got to start eating healthy. You got to start eating healthy. Doesn't care. Just still wants to eat the pizza and pasta and soda and beer and all that. And just, it's like, you know how this ends, right? Like, you're diabetic. Like, we know how this ends. And had years of warning. And didn't do anything. Like, I don't understand how that mind works.
He could just never push himself to change his habits?
It's just like the little things. Like, your brain, in that case, it's just like his brain is so in control. He has no control over his brain, right? That his brain's just like, no, this is what you do. You don't do anything else. You don't do what JR does, right? You don't get up and run. You don't eat healthier. You don't even think about this stuff. You just do the way you've been doing everything for the last 40, 50 years. And then you get your foot chopped off. I don't understand it, because I'm like, you have all this warning. So it's hard to feel bad for people like that.
Right. Well, like they say, old habits die hard, right? Like that first step is probably the hardest, but after you make that first step, you take a second one, and then finally, this becomes your new habit, so. That's
exactly, for me, I attribute it to probably when I was about 27 or so, in that area. I just was like, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking so much soda. I know this isn't good. I know I'm getting closer to 30, and I'm starting to see, like, my friends having, like, starting to get guts and everything, and I'm like, all right, this is the time to start taking this seriously, right? So I start cutting down soda, and then I start cutting out other stuff. Starting cutting out the Skittles, cutting out the M&Ms, the Starburst, the potato chips. Just for years and years and years and years and years, where now I might be ketogenic. Like, I don't know. All I do is eat fat. And I have ice cream, I don't know, once a year. Like, and I have to convince myself to have it.
Really?
Dude, haven't had it since last August, I think. Like, I don't. And
you feel a lot better? You notice a difference?
Dude. Yeah. Because it's just cognitively, too. And just my body, I'm like, okay, sure. I'm not 30 pounds bigger like I used to. I'm not 180, 185, where I was just like beefy, or even 170, 175. So I kind of miss that. But at the same time, I'm like, I love this feeling. Like, how big do I have to be? Like, I do miss. The funny thing is, man, I'm not that much weaker. I'm virtually as strong as I am now at like 155 than I was at like 185. I go to the gym and I'm like, I'm not that much different.
Same here, bro. Like on the bench, I'm like, now I gotta be weighing at least like 190, and before I was like 220. So still killing it on the bench. 400-pound max on the bench. So it's like, all right,
so much.
I don't have to be like 200 plus pounds. I'm still gonna be benching through the roof.
It's surprising, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you don't lose the strength, and that's actually because I think part of it for me is I was a psycho. I started lifting weights when I was like 11.
Oh, you got that early start, yeah,
dude. And I never used any supplements of any sort. Like I used
no protein.
I mean, protein, sure.
Yeah.
Some protein powder, but it was, and I used creatine, I think, for a week and a half of my life. And I was like, I don't like this. Like, I started to get, like, really, I was always thirsty. Like, I got super thirsty.
I didn't like that either, man. I didn't use that very long either.
I that was, like, when I was 21 or so, like, 20 or 21. And I was like, all right, I'm not doing that anymore. But, yeah, I have such, like, old man strength now because I've been working out for 25, 26 years that I'm like, holy shit, this is what I was planning. When I was, like, 12, 13, 14, I'm like, hey, if I keep this going, if I get this started now, this is how weird of a kid I was. I guess how weird of a person I still am. But I was thinking at that time when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, I was like, put all this work in now. So when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, it pays off and you're going to be strong. Because I would see, like, you know, say my dad and uncles and everybody else that's in their 30s and 40s, like, with guts, not so strong and everything.
Right.
Like, I'm like looking weak. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, so let me get started right now to make sure I don't end up like that. And then I did not count on, you know, being 50 pounds. The most I ever weighed was like 206, 207. So let's call it 50 pounds less right now. I didn't think that was going to happen. Like, I'm like, oh, is this a problem with being this healthy? Like, my body, I can't eat, like, I can't gain weight anymore. But I'm like, all right, I feel great. And yeah, like, you're the same strength.
Yeah,
and so it makes you realize, like, you don't really need that much weight. And then I also tried to justify it to, like, trick my brain to thinking, I'm like, okay, you're doing okay. Like, I still want, like, 10 or 15 pounds back, and I will get that eventually. But I'm like, I looked up stats, like, from the 1950s and 60s. I'm the size of the average man back then. The average man now is, like, 197, dude. That's how fat we are. Do you know how big the average woman is?
How big?
167.
Damn.
That's average.
That's average.
That's so big.
It's almost a welterweight.
The average woman in America is more than 10 pounds bigger than me.
Wow.
What's happening
it's
out here?
It's all the fast food, man. People getting comfortable, chilling at home.
What's happening? What's
no
happening?
Idea, man.
Can everyone else see what we're seeing?
Electronics, you know, how easy it is to get the fast food. That's got to be two of the main things.
It's because there's no bears and lions and wolves eating anyone, right?
Yeah.
So it's, once again, it's too easy. Like you said, like, it's just fast. Oh, just what do I want to eat? Oh, just drive through McDonald's or Popeyes or whoever's got drive-through is going to give you some shitty food for pretty cheap, really quick.
Oh yeah.
It's so easy to not have. You don't have to hunt your food. It's so easy, dude. We're so big. But then I'm like, because my buddies now are like, dude, you're skinny. A couple of my friends are like, no, I know you're fit. You're not so, they'll say skinny because they've gotten up to like 300 pounds and they look really bad. So I think they kind of try to make me feel bad by saying you're skinny. I'm like, dude, I made a choice. Like, the choice was to be like that or to try to live to 100 years old.
Right.
Like, it'd be pretty dope to live to 100 years old.
Hell yeah.
Like, what the hell is the world going to look like 60, 70 years from now, man? Like, I want to be there to see what it looks like.
Trying to stick around for a while.
Yeah. Like, there are no fat 70-year-olds. Where are they? There aren't any. They're dead. So, yeah, it gets really disturbing when it's like friends that have families. Like, you have little girls. Like, don't you want to lose some weight for that? Don't you want to be around for when they're adults? Like, your dad had a heart attack. What do you think is going to happen to you? I don't understand how people can't see this because it's really easy, right?
Right, yeah.
But then they call me skinny. I'm like, dude, okay, sure, whatever you want. But I'm the size of a 1950s man right now. And I think that's okay. Like, that's fine. That's back when they still used to eat real food.
Yeah. Before
we had fast food everywhere and microwave TV dinners and all this weird processed food.
Sometimes that's in people's insecurities coming out. Like, they want to say something about you to kind of like, oh, no, that ain't right, man. This is the right size because they know in their minds, like, yeah, I should be eating differently. But some people just don't have that discipline to, get it done.
Some people, I think, like...
A lot, yeah.
A lot. Yeah, because you could be telling people the same exact... They'll look at you like you're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But ketogenic, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't eat ice cream? What do you mean you don't eat Skittles? What do you mean? Like, where's there... You don't eat pizza? You eat pizza twice a year? I think I eat pizza twice a year now. You eat pizza twice a year? That's so weird. It's not weird. Like, what you say you've been eating, that all that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's just fuel. Like, people love just doing what they like.
That's it. What feels good, this feels good to me, let me do it.
And that's a childish way to think. So it makes me sad. I'm like, where are all the adults? Like, where are the adult people that think? And like, no, all right, I don't want to die. I'm just gonna suck this up. Fine, I don't have to drink soda. Do you drink booze or anything? Do you drink much alcohol?
No, I don't do that anymore. All my teenage years, I was drinking, and then like most people start drinking when they're 21. I was drinking all before that. 21, I'm like, nah, I'm done with this. So now I don't drink at all.
Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome. Would you have like a drink or two?
Nah, I don't even mess with it. Like, and chicks don't understand it. They'll be like, let's go grab a drink. I'll be like, nah, I don't drink. And then it's like, they look at me like I got three heads. Oh, well, either you deal with it or don't. I don't do it. Either you gonna...
Dude, so I've run into that too. Because I might have, at the very max, I might have 5 drinks a year. Because I just stopped. That started with the not having, cutting down sugar thing. Like, It just grew to 10 years later. This is where I'm at, where I'm just like, oh, I love feeling good, and I don't want to put anything in me that doesn't feel good. So I might have 5 drinks a whole year, and it's always with a friend.
Yeah.
And they get very confused when I'm like, no, I'm just good with 1. Like, or they want to talk about drinking and beer and going on. I'm like, one is boring to me.
Like, there's more to life than that anyways, yeah.
Like, just to talk about it, I'm like, what are we even talking about? You're talking about something you put in your mouth and you like it? Like, are we little kids still? But then it makes me feel like shit. And it's just not interesting. It confuses people. Like, what do you do then? Like, we've had that with my girlfriend. We had another couple of our friends that we hadn't seen in like a year or so, and we hanging out with them. And like, yeah, we go to the bar all the time together. What do you guys? And we're like, we don't go to the. It's like, what bars do you guys go to? Like, we don't go to a bar. What do you mean you don't go to a bar?
Yeah, like it's so uncommon. Yeah, I find that all the time, man.
It's weird.
You talking to a chick, she'll be like, oh, so what do you like to do? And I'm telling her, and I ask what she likes to do. She's like, oh, yeah, I go to the bar on the weekends, drink with my friends. I'm like, damn, that's all you do? Like, that's the main thing they do. Yeah, it's so fun. There's other fun things to do in life, like...
like, way more fun. And people get... Especially with booze, man, alcohol just takes people over. And maybe that's a product of me having seen it as a kid, too, with, like, families, like, drunk uncles that get, like, liver disease and die horrible deaths.
Oh, so you've seen what can happen, like...
I'm like, I'm not doing that. So even during, early 20s or something, where I would, drink with friends, I would still be like, just once every week, maybe, college, whatever, once every maybe twice a week. But I'm like, you got to stop this eventually. And I did. I was just like, all right, I don't want to turn into that uncle guy. But I still have friends that never stopped. They tend to be the fat ones too. But it's like, I have one friend, man, he's also 50 years old, and is a 50-year-old dude telling me, because he's just the way you describe that girl. Like, oh, I like going and drinking. Like, that's what he does. He gets out of work, he goes drinking. He goes home, he goes drinking. And I'm like, so what'd you do last night? He's like, I just went home after work and just had a couple drinks. And he's like, I didn't have much. I didn't really drink much. I was like, how many beers did you have? He's like, I had 6. I was like, you sat home by yourself, drank 6 beers, and you don't think that's a lot? It's like, I was like, say that again, so you can tell me that 6 beers by yourself isn't a lot. Like, and he does it multiple nights in a row. And then another friend, he's like, yeah, I got on a streak for the last like 3, 4, 5 months where I was having 4 drinks every night after work. I'm like, what are you doing? And then his wife stepped in, and she's like, patted
time to cut back.
Yeah, she's like, look at this. You're not allowed. She's like, I'm not gonna be married to a fat guy. Like, you're not allowed to be fat. So he's like, oh, okay. And he like snapped out of it. And this is a dude, a really healthy, health conscious dude, but beer is his, like, that's his vice. But yeah, he's like, her telling me that and slap on my belly and like, oh yeah, shit. maybe I'm a little chubby.
She called him out on it and it kind of woke him up.
Yeah, like, 4 beers a night, that isn't good. And he comes from a family, of alcoholics. And so maybe that was kind of like, oh, maybe I'm not in my 20s anymore. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And then him and I talked about that, and he kind of had that revelation too. Like, oh yeah, that's not good.
Right.
Like, you can't be doing this forever. Like, you know how it ends. And that's the thing with, like, if you find, like, good-looking girls, and they go, I love porn, I love drinking, woo! It's like, how are you going to look after 5 years of doing this?
Bro, I've seen a lot of them, like, from when they started college to, okay, they graduated, just fell apart. So it's like, I see what it does to, it can do to the body. I'm good. I'm good.
Do they think you're boring then when you're like, oh, because I get that impression. It's like, oh, you don't go out and drink? You don't like going?
Yeah, they look at me like I got 3 heads. Like, so what do you do? Like, I do other things. I go, I go on a hike. I do other things. I'm focused on the acting grind. I go, I do a lot of stuff. But just because I don't drink, you don't want to. I don't know, man. Like,
you think you've been rejected by girls because you don't drink?
Not rejected, but like they kind of act like it. I don't know, man. They just it's like that little moment where they're just like, oh, so we don't have this in common, and then they just kind of like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Some chicks like that have said that. I just don't talk to them anymore. It's like whatever. It just doesn't really pan out after that. Like this one chick from actually she used to work at Sage, older chick. She used to work in like Building 90 or something. She kept asking me like, oh, we're talking on Instagram. Long story short, we're talking about making plans, and she wanted to go grab some drinks. I'm like, nah, I don't drink, but we can, we can do something else, grab coffee or whatever. She's like, oh, I wanted to drink. I'm like, okay, well, I don't drink, so if you don't want to hang because we're not drinking, then oh well. Like, fuck it.
Even after you said, no, I don't drink, she said, but I want to drink?
Yeah.
Oh. You have to say kind of thank you to her for that. Be like, okay, thank you, because I don't need to waste my time with you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you find the girl that's like, oh, you don't drink? All right, I want to see what you do. Which I want to see what somebody who doesn't drink does. Like, that's the thing, too, is, like, they get confused, look at you like you have 3 heads, because they're like, and I said that, too, my friends are like, well, what do you do then? What do you do if you're not drinking? What if you not sitting around watching TV, eating pizza, and drinking? It's like, a lot.
Yeah, I'm out here living life.
Like, there's a lot of shit to do. You mentioned you go hike for hikes. I go for hikes, like, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I went on one this morning.
Bro.
Ooh, dude, we live in such a great area for hikes. Like, we're surrounded. Do you go in the mountains at all?
Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Any of those trails?
Yeah.
Any of these trails? We have so many good hikes. Where do you go around here? Like, on the river?
I went to fucking Overlook Mountain before, and then I went on this trail over at what's it called? People's Skill. I only went there one time.
People's Island?
Yeah, that one. I went on a walk over there like one time. It was fun, man. I like the outdoors. I like nature, so.
Dude, that is the alternative to drinking is like you're wide awake all the time. You're never drunk, so you get to see like the real world. And when you're out in nature, it's like, oh, this is the real shit, dude. And you meet the nicest people. I don't know. I meet when I go on hikes in the morning. I hardly ever run into anyone. Like it's pretty nice actually. But like when we go hikes on the weekends, I'm always running into people, and they're the friendliest people. They're the nicest people you meet out on these trails. And
you still take your dog up there?
Yeah, he loves it. Like I used to just go by myself, which I love, and now I actually just went the other day by myself because I was like, man, I haven't gone by myself without the dog in a long time. So I did that, and I was like, ooh, this is so nice and quiet. You just sit on a rock, and you just sit and chill and think. Like, that's what I do, and I like getting a little bit lost, like I said. And you learn some stuff, like if you just quiet down the noise, because there's so much noise all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's the exact opposite of drinking, I think. It's just sitting in the woods by yourself without a phone and just like, is there a bear coming? You hear the birds, you just get in your own world. Whereas I think like drinking out at a bar, you're like, wow, I'm not it. Like you don't have to think about anything. And you don't get anything done. Like I hate not getting stuff done. Like if I'm out drinking, and which I can't relate to anymore because I don't even know what that feels like. I feel like I'm not getting anything done. Like, I'm not doing anything productive right now. Like, I don't feel like a man. Like, I need to do some manly shit, whether it's thinking or hiking or working out or eating better or reading or writing or podcasting or whatever it might be.
Something that's beneficial to you.
Having good conversations.
Exactly.
Like, that's like the top of my list, having a good conversation. So, I mean, I like that as the top of it, and also sitting in the woods. So I don't like it's extremes. Like we talk about, like you like one or the other, right? Like you go hard and do nothing, or go hard and do it all. Like it's go hard and sit in the woods by myself, or go hard and sit down and have a real conversation with people. Like like those almost don't make sense, but I love each of them equally. Like I need both of them, and maybe I balance out somewhere in the middle. But yeah, it's weird. Because you're having the same issue with finding people that want that passion to help you, to like push you along. Yeah. And if you're running into people that don't understand why you don't drink, why you don't eat shitty food, and like your diet, what you just described to me, I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But someone else will be like, what the fuck? What? That's weird. You're weird for doing that, JR. That's freaking weird. But so it's hard to find a lot of people. I guess especially if you're a single man trying to mingle and find girls, like it's gotta be really hard to like find a girl who's like understands that. Like, oh, you eat healthy, you like they're out there for sure.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. But
that's why I don't really even waste my time if I can see, because there's levels. If you're not on, if she's not on my level, I'm good, and I'm perfectly content with that because I know where I'm going. I know all the things that are coming to me, real soon. So if she ain't riding with me, then okay, I'll go solo and. Then you're going to be looking at me on TV or on the big screen like, oh, damn, like, he gave me a shot at this point.
Dude, one of my favorite rappers of all time, Mike Jones. Who? You know Mike Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all up on me. Used to say I was cute, but I was just too chubby. Same size a year later, same hoes wanna fuck me. I love that line because he's just like, I was broke a year ago. And you didn't want anything to do with me, and I had my dreams and everything, but you couldn't see my dreams with me, and now
they don't see it, but they see the result, and then they want a piece of the pie.
Yeah,
nah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I think that song's probably like from 2004, 2005, 2006. And I'm like, my man, he's doing it, and that's another that I love. That talk about hustling story. Like, I remember when I first heard of him and Mike Jones in 2005, is he used to just go to high schools and hand out his tapes and just to high school kids. Like, and that's where he would do his shows, was at high schools, and had video camera. This is back when like camcorders were like kind of big still, and he would go around like filming his little things with high school kids, and he just kept hustling, and he had a couple of big hits. I mean, a lot of people now probably still don't know who he is, but like he was big for like 2 or 3 years, and hopefully he's still making money. He's still making plenty of money now, I hope. But I love that I can. It's kind of my dream. I want to eventually have enough money to rent or hire Mike Jones, because he'll come and like do your parties and shit, and just like come and just rap and sing and hang out. And so he has this website. It's like for bookings. Like I'm like, that is so awesome. I'd love to get Mike Jones here. So that's like one of my like 100 things of bucket lists. Like if I get enough money, I'm hiring Mike Jones for a party.
That'd be dope.
Because that's his story. Like his story, and he raps and sings and talks about his story of he's a hustler. Like I love that. I love seeing hustlers. You're Les Brown. That's a hustler. Like I love that story. And that's the human story. That's like that's fun.
It is, man.
Like that's shit. Like why the Kardashians and all that, so whatever that crap is, like that never interested me. I'm like, you're just walking around being rich and buying things and bitching about stuff.
Yeah, that's fucking boring.
Like that's boring. I'm so bored. I think I might have watched like a minute and a half ever of that kind of show, or any shows like that, or the 16-year-old Sweet 16. I don't know if MTV still does that, but it's like all these bratty 16-year-old kids, like, my life is great, I'm 16, woo, look, I did it. I'm like, this is so boring. Like, where's the story? Like, I want to read a book about someone's life. Like, I hope Mike Jones is writing a book, because I would read that book. I don't know if he already has one out there, but whoever has that kind of story of, I hope this is part of your story. I hope, oh yeah, I sit down with that dude, Knucklehead Doug and Troy, in the basement of, across from the music hall. I didn't know what was going to work. I was a 23-year-old punk. I had no idea, but I saw the future, and now look at it. Like, that's a story. That's a book that I want to read.
Yeah, man, the journey, man. That's what it's all about.
It is, and not many people can see that, right? Like, it's yours, and that's liberating, right? Like, if like talking to these girls that don't understand it, or you're talking to, trying to get other people to collaborate with, to work with you, and they don't understand. No, I'm fucking serious about this. Is like, it's kind of freeing and liberating. It's like, oh, I am different from everyone else. I'm not like you people, which should be fuel to your fire. Like, oh, I am different because I'm gonna go that way because you don't see what I can see.
Exactly.
Shit gets me pumped. J.R. Richards. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
All right. J.R. Richards, and he is the man, and he can bench press 400 pounds. So go ketogenic. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, man. It's good, man.
And do things you don't like running.
That's it, man. Discipline. That's what it's all about.
All right, man. This is fun. We'll do it again.
Thanks for having
Peace out.
me, bro.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks, bro.
I love talking to you because I